What are some alternative things that you can bring into your salon to support your staff, your guests, and yourself as a salon owner? Hi, I'm Kayla Swanson, and I'm your host of the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Salon Scale, the ultimate salon back bar management app. Built by salon owners for salon owners, Salon Scale is designed to turn your salon back bar into a profit center, manage back bar formulas, product costs, and inventory. Click the link to get 10% off your annual subscription. And today, I have decided to bring in Carla Unger. She's going to be hanging out with me, and we're going to be talking about what it's like to work at a salon, what it's like to just be with people all day, and how the effect that can take on your body, and how you can alternative things that you can start to bring into your salon to support your staff and yourself as you start to deal with the emotional toll and the physical toll that the stuff does take on with you. So Carla, hi, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Kayla. I'm excited.
Oh man. I'm so excited that you're here. I know we talk a lot on the podcast about like business strategies. We do talk about some personal developments and personal growth. But Carla is a personal growth coach and EFT tapping practitioner, which is going to be something we're going to be talking about today. So Carla, tell us a little bit about yourself, your history. I know you're a salon owner as well. So tell us a little bit about you.
So I have been in the salon industry and the hair, and still currently working behind the chair for the last 30 years. And I have loved every minute of being behind the chair. Sometimes life hits us from behind and we have to start looking at different things. So my personal growth journey started about 7 years ago when my personal life started to fall apart a little bit. And it caused me to catapult into looking for modalities, looking for a way to think differently when sometimes we're thrown, anything in our lives that can be traumatic or
thrown off.
Just, all those good things that life throws.
Thrown for a loop, given the kitchen sink, all those things.
There you go. So, this forced me to start looking into something called EFT, or tapping, and tapping on the body. Being able, and I usually say, we just want to bring the body to the party. Just bring the body to the party. So that has led me here today in diving into a coaching program where I'm facilitating a beautiful program called Break Free Mind, and working continuously with clients and salon owners and stylists in what EFT can bring to them in their day-to-day business.
I love that. So you're saying, so you've owned a salon for how long?
So I have been in the industry for 30 years working for someone else, which is also just great.
Totally.
But I was gifted a beautiful gift of a home where it had a separate suite upstairs. So I am currently celebrating today, actually, my first year of being a salon owner for myself. And I've created a beautiful space where I can serve my clients with their hair needs and serve my clients with their personal growth and tapping needs.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, congratulations. Happy 1 year. That is beautiful. And like you said, 7 years ago when things start to fall apart, I love the story that you have of things were here. And then I'm like, okay, what am I going to do about it? And you went down this path, and now it's brought you here 7 years later, and you're getting to serve people and love on people and do what you love. And now you're here on this podcast to share those with the audience. And I'm really excited about that.
Are you ready to increase your retention and revenue and convert website traffic to clients? Then you're ready for Maya. Maya creates better business relationships by pairing the right clients with the right beauty professionals. Use promo code HPSA for your first 2 months free. Visit joinmaya.com to get started.
We're Forest, born on the salon floor and built for and by hair and beauty professionals like you. Forest is your marketing, your reporting, your reputation management. You need one easy-to-use system that does it all. Forest, together we grow.
Are you tired of not knowing what your hair color is costing you? With Salon Scale, we take the guesswork out for you, so you can cover your back bar expenses, reduce your color waste, and generate more profit in your salon. Click the link in the description to get 10% off your first year.
So before we kind of dive into what EFT tapping is and some other things that you can bring into your salon, can you tell me what you have learned in terms of like in your own experience of what it's like to be a stylist and have like you're having conversations all day, and what did you start to learn about the emotional toll or the toll that it takes on yourself as a person?
That's a beautiful question. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners will be able to resonate when we talk about the day in and day out of the salon stylist and working behind the chair,
Yeah.
we often, I mean, exhaustion is the first word that comes to play. Physically, it takes a toll on our bodies. Mentally, it takes a toll. And the hard part is, depending on how you run your business, I've always run a very personal business. My clients, most of them have been with me for over 25 years. And I'm not even just joking about that. So being able to invest in all these people day in and day out, we don't recognize and we don't realize how mentally exhausting that can be. Most of us you'll either be an introvert or an extrovert, and how you gain your energy depends on how you're going to show up later after your day of work is done. So for my journey personally, I was coming home exhausted. I was waking up at night thinking, oh, I've got this day tomorrow. I've got all these people. How am I going to navigate this and this and this and this? I would, as I call it, mind hump the day before and start thinking of all the conversations I had. Did I serve them well? And I would question myself continuously as well. And even just not even understanding the moods that I was experiencing coming home. And the question I often got, or the comments I often got at home, was like, oh, you don't have enough for us. You don't have enough for me. That would be my partner at the time. You give everything to everybody in your chair, but then you come home and you've got nothing. And I soon realized, honestly, Kayla, that empty tank wasn't being filled, and I didn't know how to fill it. And so you go to the salon, right?
Yeah.
Snap it.
You almost feel,
yeah.
Yeah, you almost feel like, like when people are saying that, I love how you're saying, like, people are saying, like, you don't have anything left for me. Like, you don't have, you're working all day, you come back and nothing. Did you also feel like you were aware? You're like, yeah, I'm aware that I don't have anything left. And so not only were you hear people saying that to you, were you aware in yourself that you're like, yeah, I don't have anything else to offer, and you're asking for more and I don't have any more to give you?
I think at the time I was not aware. I think it was just sort of that mentality, and maybe that's just my generation. It was like, well, we got to suck it up. I got to work.
Got to just do it.
Got to do it. I got to shove as many people as we can in our day because we want to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the exhaustion piece not only transferred at home, but it also transferred within the salon. Because I always wondered, why do salons have such bad reputations? You always heard about in the early days of like, oh, we're just catty and women are mean and whatever, and everyone's mean within the salon and all this stuff. And it kind of dawned on me, like, why is that? So that's where the pursuit of understanding a different way of thinking and experiencing a different way on how I brought my body into play in my everyday work became sort of my goal in trying to understand this. Because if we're depleted already at work, we're going to be depleted at home. And if we're depleted at home, we're going to be depleted at work.
Yeah. It's like an endless cycle. You're like, how do you get out of it? It's like, it's just getting worse because nothing's getting better.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So then that brought me into
EFT tapping for sure. So that was the first place where the pit stop started. And I was like, what is this? What is this thing that you can do anywhere? You can sneak into the bathroom in between clients. You can, do it when you're sitting in the back room waiting for your client to show up or for your color to process. And it was because it's so instant. I think that's part of the biggest reason that I love this work and love this modality so much, because it works instantly.
Wow. And you can do it I love what you just said. You can do it from anywhere. So like you can go, it's like something you can apply, you can do it, you can find it, and you can have access to it immediately. Like, I know I need a break. I need to go do something.
Absolutely. You can be mixing your color and going, okay, I hope I mix this properly. Man, I'm not really sure it's going to work, but we're going to cross our fingers and I'm going to just tap on my body and off I go and hope for the best.
I love that. So now I love the evolution or the progress of, you were somewhere they need to find something, you found something that works and it was effective, and it was like something you can do anywhere and it was effective. So it's easy to start to apply that into your life. So let's go into a little bit so that people, as we're talking about this, can understand what is EFT tapping? Can you give me a little backstory on what it is?
Yes, it's my favorite thing. I'm a big science nerd as well. So one thing I love about EFT tapping, and my girlfriend, who is also a practitioner, always called it woo-woo adjacent. Because people right away think, oh, it's this woo-woo thing and it's weird and I don't know what I think about it. And when you actually put the science behind it, and legit science, it just makes a lot of sense when we understand how meridian points work on our body and how energy, aka quantum physics, actually works in this world. And so when I say it's adjacent, we are working with energy. And I mean legit, like atoms moving vibrationally in our bodies, with tapping on acupressure points that bring a calm from the body from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. And we can lower cortisol up to 48% in one session.
Whoa.
In a world that is so chaotic right now, and I know you guys who are behind the chair are feeling this. Your clients come in, their inner turmoil is at a heightened state, and we're needing more than ever to be grounded within ourselves so that we can provide A, the best service to our clients, but B, also provide a safe space for them to come and land for a hot minute. Because they don't get that in the world right now. No one does. We're on our phones 24/7. Our bodies are in a state of stress, constantly fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode. And we need a place to be able to calm not only ourselves, but the people that are sitting in our chair.
Wow. That's powerful. I love what you just said on how, like, yeah, I mean, if you're listening, hopefully, like, this is starting to resonate of, like, yeah, like, that is my life. And yeah, the world is crazy and there's so many things. And I think being able to connect with your body and realizing that, like, things are taking more of a physical and emotional and mental toll on us than even we realize or we're aware of. I think like we've talked, I mean, if this is not your first episode, then you know that we talk a lot about personal development. It's a huge interlace into everything that we do, because if you're not growing as a person, then there's not much for your business to even grow if you're not growing individually. And I think growing can also mean becoming aware of the way that things affect your body, not just growing in awareness of like how to act and how to do things, but also I'm becoming aware of like, wow, how am I feeling right now? And how is this affecting the things that I'm doing? And then what can I do about that? And so being able to bring in things like this and be able to have practices and something that would help you like break out of that. But if the first part is awareness of like, do you realize how much of your job takes an effect on you? And so I'm really excited about this. So start to walk me through. So now that we've talked about what it is, how does that start to interact with your body? Like what is the chemistry between tapping and your body and how it starts to relieve that?
So what we're doing with tapping is we are disrupting what the body and the mind connection know as a habitual way of being, a default, we want to call it. So we're disrupting that pattern so that when the body comes back into a parasympathetic state, we have clarity of mind to decide how we want to feel in this moment, to decide that we're not going to take in X or so-and-so's energy, especially if they're coming in vibing pretty high. Yeah. And we have a decision of clarity that we can choose how we want to show up in that moment for ourselves, especially first and foremost, and to the person we're serving behind the chair.
Wow, that's huge.
So it offers that space of, like I said, clarity and calm, so that you can think about the formulas you're putting on the table, and you can think about the conversation you just had with that person. Because think about what we do all day. We have someone that sits in our chair. What's the first thing we all do? We touch them.
Oh, nice.
We touch them. So we are one of the few jobs out there outside of the health industry, and I'm going to include massage because people think they would consider that probably a therapeutic thing, that has permission to touch people without asking.
Yep.
So that's a really, really big deal. We're working on their crown chakra, so that's also a big deal. And we're exchanging energy between them. So have you ever noticed when you're in the salon and you're working on someone and they come in and they're super agitated, the drive over was ridiculous and they're just having a rotten day and da-da-da-da-da, and then you go to the back room and you're like, why am I exhausted already?
I haven't even started yet. I haven't even mixed my first bowl and I already feel exhausted.
Absolutely. So that is a huge piece of information for us as stylists, that we do this sometimes 8 to 10 times a day, depending on how many clients we choose to see in a day.
Yeah. Wow.
So we're constantly exchanging. We're constantly conversing. We're constantly outpouring and outpour and outpour. So then that depletion starts to hit. And then you go downstairs and you start to sit in the staff room and someone comes in and you snap at them because you're exhausted, not because you're a mean person, but you're exhausted.
Like even going back to what we were saying earlier, is you're exhausted and you don't really 100% know why or where it's coming from, because you haven't had a second to check in with yourself. Be like, I'm really feeling strongly about this way and I don't really know where it's coming from or how to get myself back. And you kind of just get stuck there.
Beautiful.
Sometimes you can snap out of it, but sometimes you get stuck there. And I love that. So could you like demonstrate, like help us, can we do an example? Like, can you lead me through like what it would feel like? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I absolutely can. Yes. Okay. So what a session or what a round of tapping can look like. We usually like to organize it into 3 different sessions. So if I'm working with you, Kayla, and you're coming in and you're saying, okay, Carla, I'm feeling really agitated about this, and this, and this. Oftentimes, not often, every time, cut that out. We want to rate where the body is feeling. So we want to rate how intense we're feeling that. We want to ask where it is feeling in the body. Oh, you know what? I had this really complicated or difficult client today. One of my favorite clients just told me she has stage 4 cancer. I'm really not sure how I'm processing this. Because remember, as stylists too, we usually get the first news on what is happening in people's lives. And that's really heavy for us. So often I will ask, how is it feeling? Where is it feeling in your body? Are you feeling it in your neck? And most of us have a throat, neck, thoracic situation just because of where our arms are placed every day. Mm-hmm. Are you feeling it in your chest when you think about the stress of how you're experiencing that experience in this moment? Are you feeling it in your gut system? I bet you there's a lot of people out there that have gut issues, not only because we never have time to eat, but because we're also taking on other people's stuff. Yeah. So I like to identify where that stress is coming from. And I usually ask everybody from a scale of 1 to 10, where are you feeling that? How intense is it? 1 being, I'm super chill, feeling really good. Or 10 being like, if I don't deal with this right now, I actually might implode.
Yep.
So once we identify where or what the intensity is, it's really easy then to kind of go, okay, where do I need to bring that body? Because we do want to get back to that 1, 2, 3 space. But when we're sitting at a 7, 8, or 9, 10, that's really good information that we are in a very heightened state and that we need to shift out of that quickly. And tapping will do that. So we often start with the side of the hand, and we call that the karate chop point. And this is our even though statement. And this is where we have to kind of talk about the ugly. We talk about, even though I'm feeling really stressed out about my client coming in and talking about her cancer, I'm loving myself right now.
Ready to transform your business and improve your salon's profitability? With Lonza's 3-in-1 technology and intermixable shades, your hair color inventory is streamlined with limitless creativity behind the chair. Click the link below to unveil the secret to salon success.
Sustain Beauty Co. has 2 of the best tools to help you save water, time, and a bunch of money. Join the clean water salon movement with EcoHead's water-saving shampoo nozzles and scrummy plant-based microfiber towels. Available at sustainbeauty.co.
And even though I'm experiencing a lot of sadness. And it's really important, I will say, you guys, to make sure that you really identify the proper emotion that you're feeling. There are beautiful emotional wheels that you can find on the internet that will identify, because sadness is really different than devastation. Sadness is really different than feeling sorrow. Like, there's different states of emotions, and we have to identify them. I'm really sad.
For those of you who are listening, really fast, if you're listening and not able to watch, we are tapping right on your, like, put your hand like a karate chop, and we're tapping right below your pinky. Yeah. Right below on the outside of your hand.
That nice little full spot right below your pinky.
Yeah.
That's what we're tapping. Yeah. And then we usually say about 3 even though statements, because we really do want to acknowledge that it's okay to feel. And that's why we say, I love myself anyways. I'm choosing to love myself in this moment. I'm choosing to create a safe space to love myself now. A lot of times we experience that statement and it's difficult for us to say that.
Yeah.
But
Now, are you saying like verbally, like audibly saying it out loud, or kind of in your head is okay too?
you know what? It's okay to do. Thank you for that. That's a great question. So when I tap with my clients, I often say it's a thing of Simon Says. I will say the statement, and you can choose to follow. You choose to follow. You do tap on the points, but you can choose to say them in your mind or in your out loud. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's just like being able, but focusing on the words that you're saying as you're touching your body, as you're tapping, focusing on changing the languaging, asking yourself the question. I love the symbolism that I'm starting to see when you're doing this is like how much you're just like, you've put kind of all your attention on yourself, which I think a lot of people like, oh, don't think about yourself. And like, especially hairdressers and salon owner, like we are in an industry of people who just love on other people and we pour out for others. And I love the part of this where it's kind of like centering, like, let's check in with us and let's make sure we're taking care of ourselves also, because there's a lot happening over there with us. And as much as you pour out to others, it's even more important that you take care of you and focus on your own self and like, okay, where are you at? Because not all the time do you get like, people ask your permission before they drop a bomb on you of like, yeah, my grandma has cancer, or I've just found out, or whatever it is. Like people drop information on you and you don't really get to prepare or predict it or even get permission for people to communicate those things to you. It's just kind of expected and people just dump on you. And so I love this, like what's happening here as you're checking in with yourself, Carla, as you're saying, like ask yourself questions like, where am I feeling it? What does it feel like? And then start to identify really key words that it's not just I'm sad. It's like, what are you actually feeling? And being able to broaden yourself, your own understanding of what emotions are out there and what kind of feelings and descriptive words there are out there to describe. It'll help you get even more connected to like, wow, that's like, if you say like, yeah, I'm feeling sorrow. I mean, that's almost a different emotional feel when someone's like, yeah, I feel sorrow over sadness. It's like, you almost feel a little bit deeper and start to realize, oh, there's words that describe a little bit deeper and help you understand yourself on a deeper level, which is what I love as I see you doing this. I'm like, man, what a cool thing to start to realize is bringing focus into yourself is really important, which is why I love talking about this topic, whether it's EFT tapping for you or it's other things. I mean, start to get awareness to your body and realize the emotional toll that it takes on you. And like, Carla is a great resource in terms of like EFT tapping and something to bring into your salon, but even looking for things to come in that can support your staff and realize that the emotional and the connection that you're having with people and touching them and the exchange that you have through your bodies, it's a really big thing that's happening and something really important to be able to support your staff with. So just wanted to pop in there and add that, because this is really exciting.
You summed it up so beautifully, Kayla. You totally do. And you're getting the essential of exactly what tapping offers. And there's different methods of point systems that people use out there. I use a 10-point system, but they all do the same thing in the sense of we're just bringing that place. And when we're in that heightened state, it's just really important to acknowledge those emotions. And so after we do the even though statement, I tap on the head first. Some places start eyebrow first. It doesn't matter. Tapping solution will start on the eyebrow first and end with the head. And we just tap through the points. I'm feeling devastated. And then we go to top of the eyebrow and we're just following the occipital points. I'm really devastated about the news that I have heard today. And then we go to the side of the eye. All this devastation that I'm feeling and this sorrow. Under the eye. Am I able to support my client in the way she needs in this moment? Under the nose. Right here, all this sorrow that I am feeling in my chest. Under the mouth, I'm feeling it really, really heavy now. Collarbone point. This is my favorite point because this is a really easy one to get to. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later as to why. All this sorrow that I have for my client. And then we go under the arms, right where the kidneys like to live. And you can say it over and over again. I have just so much sorrow. We just want to acknowledge that this is what we're feeling. And it feels really scary. I can promise you, but it won't last long. We know that emotions are an ebb and flow. Great Maya Angelou says, every storm runs out of rain.
I love that.
Right? Under the chest, right where the bottom of the sternum. These are the 2 points that a lot of places people don't go. All this sorrow that I'm feeling on behalf of my client. And then I like to do the wrist point. There's just a lot of sorrow here. And I'm feeling it in my chest. And I'm trying to be the person that my client needs me to be right now.
Wow.
So oftentimes when we go through that sequence, I often will have a check-in point and say, okay, how do I feel right now? Am I still in a heightened space, or am I coming down into that 4, 5, or 6? The 4, 5, or 6 space on the scale is one of the best places, because now we've brought that body down to a place where we can offer possibility. This is the special sauce, you guys. This is the magic, and when we can change an existing default thought pattern, which we know is a belief system as emotion and thought being besties, creating a belief now of what I think and feel, where we can change the action that's coming out of us so that we put out into the world what we expect back. So this is a beautiful place of, is it possible to support my client in a way that she needs, where I'm not taking it on? Am I able to separate what I'm seeing and feeling from my client now? Am I able to sit with this sorrow and still be supportive for her? And so then we can go through that cycle of possibility, love possibility. I love seeing that change.
Yeah.
And we can do it within ourselves too. If you're experiencing something like a fight at home or whatever is going on. Am I able to look at my partner from a different perspective and see them in a different way? Under the eye. Am I able to look at my coworker and understand where they're coming from? Under the nose. So we can walk through that possibility. Is it possible? And then once we bring that body down to that like 1, 2, 3, this is again where the magic lives. And this is the manifestation piece that I love. I love manifesting things in my life. And this is where we can exchange that old thought for what we want.
Wow.
I am a stylist that brings a space for my clients to feel safe in. I affirm and I'm strong and resilient when clients bring something to the table that is really hard. I'm able to not make it about myself when my coworker gets upset. I'm open and excited that I can be the stylist that I want to be and grow my business in a magnificent way. And so
That's incredible.
We can exchange those thoughts for what we want. And that's the beauty
I love it.
of it.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for walking through that. I think getting to witness that and getting to see the possibility in there. I think another note that I also saw is as you were going through the 10 points, you were really like, you're telling yourself like, in the beginning, you're like, I feel sorrow or like whatever the emotion is. And I love the permission that you're almost giving yourself to feel it. It's like, instead of being like, I feel this is crazy, I don't understand it, go away and shove it down, drink a coffee, you know, all the things are the ways that we mask it. Like, I don't want to feel this, I'll deal with this later. Well, for a lot of us dealing with this later, that later never comes until something else like just blows it up. And then you're just like, why am I feel so heightened about this? And it's like, well, because you have 20 things back there that you never dealt with before. And all of that like kind of blows up at one point. And I love the permission that we're giving ourselves. And we're like, yeah, this is what I feel. And it's okay to feel this. It's okay for when somebody tells you something behind the chair or your coworker or something happens or somebody hurts you. It's okay that it affects you in a negative way. There's totally. You're not going to get to a point in your life where you're going to be invincible to things affecting you in a not necessarily negative, because feeling sorrow is not a negative way, but it can affect you and a negative per se for bringing you down to a place where it's like, okay, I feel very low. I feel more exhausted. I feel more heavy. I know for me, like when I'm sad, like my body just feels physically heavy.
100%.
And I love walking through that. And so to bring awareness, like give yourself permission and then, okay, now start to change it. And I know you're saying, well, I don't even know, like, yeah, you might say like, well, you're an expert, you know what to say to yourself. But I think doing it in the practices and being able to like make it a practice for yourself and be able to have it. And I know that Carla, you and I were talking about what are some ways, so if people wanted to put this into practice, what are some like things that they can Google or way that they can have access to this kind of work immediately, like right after this podcast?
Yes. So there are so many places you can go to learn, videos you can watch. The Tapping Solution is probably one of the biggest organizations out there that wants to get tapping into every hands, into every home possible. So they have an app that you can pay for a year, or you can do it for free. There's a free part of it as well. And Beautiful. You can start to learn and follow guided meditations. Working with a practitioner, one of the benefits of working with a practitioner is when you meet with them, we are trained to hear your words, just like you're kind of trained behind the salon and behind the chair. We all know we're kind of secret psychologists, right? So let's be honest. But when you work specifically with a practitioner, we're trained to hear specific things. And sometimes we say things that we don't even know that we're saying. And I'll repeat back some things and they'll be like, what? Did I say that? And it's like, yeah, these are the words you use. And so those words are super effective when we're doing a tapping script. Wow. So the Tapping Solution, working with a practitioner is really essential. YouTube has lots and lots of videos. Brad Yates is a really popular tapping practitioner that has lots of YouTube videos as well. And you can go to my Instagram. If you scroll deeply down, you can find the how-tos of what we talked about today on how to tap and all the points and why it's really important and what we're disrupting and all the energy and all that stuff.
Love it. That's amazing. So I hope as you're listening, like EFT tapping is a beautiful way to like, we wanted to bring awareness to like the toll that it takes, that your job takes on you. And I know that you know it. And I know that you're listening, you're like, this really applies to me. So the importance of making it a part, if you're the salon owner listening and you're to bringing people in or bringing resources in to support your stylist, your team, your staff in being able to support them as they're going through their day to day. If you have a lot of staff on your team who are just maybe they're fighting, maybe they're having bad days, maybe you just had a walkout, maybe there's just a lot of emotional things going on, looking into something in your area that could come in and be a support on their emotional well-being is amazing. EFT tapping is a great resource for that. So like Carla said, I'll put her Instagram in the description if you want to find her. I'll also put the what was the name again that you said, the app that we have that you suggested?
The Tapping Solution app.
The Tapping Solution.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll put that in the description too, so you can find the name of that and be able to find resources to be able to bring in that you can get. I mean, there's a ton of stuff for free, but even going a step further and finding people in your area, just Google it. You can look for EFT tapping in your area, but find people who are like well rated and people who are, know the things, but a great place to start. So Carla, as people start to walk away from this episode, what is one thing that you would like to share with them that would be to take away from them to be able to make the shift in their own minds of how this is something that's really powerful for them?
So a good tip that I often suggest to all my clients and whatnot, because time is a factor, unfortunately, in what we do. Sometimes you're right. Like we just kind of like, I'll deal with that later. And then we don't. But for those quick moments where you're having anxiety over a conversation you just had with a client or a conversation you had in the back room or the anxiety you might be feeling on, I'm not even sure how I'm going to do this color. Yeah. It doesn't matter how it shows up. Take a hot minute, figure out where it is in your body, and do a quick tap on your collarbone points. Collarbone point is the point that directly leads to our kidneys and our adrenal glands, and that's where cortisol loves to live. And so we can lessen that cortisol heightening system in our bodies very, very quickly by a quick tap on the collarbone points. And we can just say, you know what, I've got this. This color is going to be fabulous. The conversation I just had was really hard, but I'm going to be okay right now because I'm loving myself right now. So those are the things that we can put and create an awareness immediately and offer gentleness to yourself, you guys. Gentleness is probably one of the biggest things that I will talk incessantly about when I'm dealing with clients, dealing with other stylists, be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. Give yourself that little hot minute love that you might need. And if it happens every 6 to 8, 10 times a day, that's okay. Just honor yourself for a hot minute and you will see a shift and success change for you.
Wow, that's so powerful. Carla, I learned a lot. I know I'm going to be applying this as I always love learning new things. We talk a lot about different things and we talk a lot about energy and just the way that our bodies move, and whether this is your thing or not, totally fine either way. But for those of you who this is something that you're interested in, I would encourage you to just look into it, to be able to offer something, because we take care of a lot of people. You take care of a lot of people in your day-to-day life. You see a lot of people, you greet a lot of people, whether you're behind the chair or not. You interact with people, you interact with your staff, and things happen, things go wrong. And to be able to have resources where, one, you get to love on yourself, because the number one person who can love you the best is yourself, if you learn to do that and be able to identify. And so find one of those charts that talks about the emotions and the different ways to express emotions, not just sadness. Go a little bit deeper than that. Learn the terminology to be able to put better words, put better words to describe how you're feeling. Yeah. And even if you're like, man, I learned a word I didn't even know that was definition, to be able to connect with yourself more, because it's so important. And even if nothing else you do is you be able to start connecting with yourself, even stop and take like a mental check. Where am I at? How am I feeling? Even asking yourself that question is a great place to start. So Carla, thank you so much for explaining this to us. If you want more information, do let us know. And what a great...
Can I offer? So if you find me on Instagram, I will give you guys my tapping journal guide. Anyone who wants it. Absolutely. I can give it to you and you can post it or whatever. But I think this would be just really important for people to, and I use it as a journal. And if you're experiencing something in the day, you can write out your own tapping script and tap on your body. And it serves as a double thing. It'll guide you through a tapping session, but it also allows you to put the emotions that you're feeling, where you're feeling it in your body, and then tap through it. So it's almost like a little journaling thing as well.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. That'd be amazing. So if you want a tapping journal, we'll put the link in the description, and then you can get the tapping journal for that. I love the gift. So a good place to start. That's a great place. Thank you for hanging out with us today. And we'll see you next time on the Profitable Salon podcast. Thanks, Carla.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to the Profitable Salon Owner Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a review, and check us out at profitablesalon.com for more episodes, content, and to help you turn your salon into the business you've always dreamt of.